What's up, guys? This is going to be the third and final part of this firewood cutting project. Really the only thing I have left is to just split up this remaining tree behind me and carry all the wood back there and stack it up. So let's get into it, and hopefully we can get it wiped out this weekend so that I can move on to some other projects I got coming I want to show on the channel. I started splitting up a few of these pieces at the very end of last weekend, but I didn't make it too far. I did discover though that I think there's a bee nest up here somewhere. I'm surprised I didn't get bothered by me up here cutting with the chainsaw, but I noticed whenever I started splitting these logs, I guess the repetitive pounding on the ground started to upset them. It looks like a bunch of bumblebees. It's not yellow jackets, or I probably would have got tore up. But they seemed a little unhappy with me, so I think I'm going to roll these pieces down the hill there and split them down there away from the bees, and it'll be a little bit easier to work on flatter ground anyway. So let's get started on that. Well, so far I've been able to make it through doing all this without contracting any poison ivy, so I guess my method for cutting the vines several weeks before the trees got taken down to let them dry out and then washing off with dish soap seems to work. Hopefully I can make it through processing all this up without getting into all this hairy stuff still on here is still from the poison ivy, so I don't know if at this point it's really gonna bother me or not, but so far it's been all right. So let's get some of these pieces split up. This tree looked like it, I don't know if it started to get like some sort of disease going in it or what, but like the whole center of it in some parts has got like this weird yellow stuff, and then there's like a ring around the whole inside where it almost looked like it was starting to die out from the middle. And we've had several other oak trees get a disease. Like, that's not our tree, but the one up there, it's like the branches all start dying out and eventually the whole tree will go. So I don't know if there's some sort of contagious disease that goes through them, but that's not really the reason. This one was leaning. It got about partially blown over in a hurricane, but it looks like maybe it was gonna die out anyways. The wood in the middle of these pieces is definitely a little bit rotten, because usually that's what happens when you're splitting a little bit more rotten wood, as the maul tends to stick. I don't know if it has something to do with this weird growth that was on the side of the tree, I guess. Almost like a burl or something. Definitely sticky feeling and soft. Piece is probably all right. Alright guys, I'm gonna call it there for today. I stayed out here for right at 3 hours and got the whole tree trunk split up. So I'm really happy with that amount of progress for the day. Even though it's only a week into September, summer is still alive and well. It poured down rain last night and it's quite humid out here, so I've about had enough. I'll get out here tomorrow morning while it's still cooler and start hauling all this down and getting it stacked up, and then after we have all our piles done, I can figure out how many tarps I need to get and get everything covered up. So I will check back in tomorrow morning. Alright guys, I'm not getting quite as early of a start as I was hoping for. It's Saturday, the day after I split up most of that wood up there on the hill. Had to do a few other things. I got caught up doing some other weekly chores and store runs and all that stuff. So it's now like mid-afternoon now. I'm gonna just start stacking up some of this stuff. Unfortunately, I'm definitely gonna have to get into this next weekend as well. But there's a big old pile of cut up branches and just little scrap pieces that I think I'm gonna go ahead and get organized. There's still quite a bit more of that type wood up there on the hill. So I guess let's start hauling all this stuff down, and I'll film a little bit, like maybe do a time lapse or something. But I'm not gonna go too crazy filming a lot of this wood stacking, because I already did, you know, a pretty big portion of what I have down there. I showed that on camera already, and I know this is probably beginning to get a bit repetitive. I'm not trying to content farm or whatever, like the same kind of activity, but this is just, you know, what I'm working on at this time, so it's kind of what I have to film, even though it's taking me several weekends to do. So hopefully by next weekend maybe I'll be done with this. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get started and see how far I can make it before I'm ready to go in for the day. Alright guys, I just kind of wanted to film a bit of an outro for this video and this project. This will be the final video on firewood cutting for this year. Me and my brother kind of got out here and got in get it done mode, and I didn't really film the rest of what we did, but I mean it's pretty much the same as what I've already shown. I will go ahead and show you our wood haul that we got. This stuff in the back here is our seasoned wood that I had before. And then we have all these random chunks and pieces that didn't really stack well with everything else. Some more over here with some of the branch pieces. And then we've got 5 stacks of cordwood now. The stuff that's tarped is what I had from last year. And then the 3 additional ones there is all from these 2 oak trees that we had cut down. So we got a good collection of firewood now. That stuff I will get it tarped at some point in the coming weeks, so that we can let it dry out and hopefully use it next season. But that'll be the conclusion of this project. It wasn't terrible. I mean, it was a lot of manual labor, but I think we got it done in about 4 weekends. It's not, I wasn't out here like slaving away all day, you know, every weekend or whatever, but we still managed to get it done like fairly quickly. So that's gonna be it for this one. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about this little series, and I'll catch you guys next time.